Hello everyone, welcome to the channel We Can Do It for a moment of creativity and fun. My name is Aude and I test on my free time some creative hobbies. In the first video we made a lamp and a stool in epoxy resin. Today we are going to try the jewelry and you will see it is totally accessible to everyone. A little creativity and that's it. So when we talk about resin jewelry we often talk about two types of resin. The epoxy resin and the UV resin. Oh la 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 la, but Aude, which resin should I take? Frankly, I have no idea. Oh la la. Well, I think we have no choice, we'll have to test both, right? In this video I suggest we start with the epoxy resin. We will then try the UV resin in the next video and do a little comparison. Stay until the end because I will share with you the results and the benefits of this fabrication. If you like this video, don't forget to like and to subscribe. Are you ready? Jewelry, here we come! For the epoxy resin, we start with two preparation steps. First of all, our preparation. Yes, this is absolutely important to protect ourselves with some glasses, a mask, a blouse, and some gloves. Then we mix the two components, the resin and the hardener. For the resin I use, this is a 2:1 ratio, but of course it depends on the resin you use. Precision in dosing the resin is key to ensure proper curing and hardening. We then mix the two components. And finally, we try as much as possible to eliminate the bubbles. There are several techniques which are more or less efficient, more or less expensive. For my part, I use a heating mat. I find the ratio result investment quite interesting. I then use a blowtorch to eliminate the remaining bubbles on the surface. If you want to know more about the preparation steps, I invite you to watch this video. I add you the link here. Now let's move to the most interesting part, the jewelry. To obtain a nice and regular shapes, I will use silicone molds. And there are a lot, really a multitude of them. For the customization surprise, it would have been too long to list you all the possibilities, so I'll let you have a look in the video. There's so many things, the dye, the mica powder, the phosphorescent powder, the aurora powder, the sparkles, so many sparkles. We can put seashells, little figurines, stars, sand, fake grass. It's been now 6 hours and the epoxy resin has partially hardened. If I want, I can add a new layer of resin. This may be to have a more complex jewelry with more colors, new customization, or simply to have a beautiful finish and flatter surface. The resin does in fact tend to shrink a little, as you can see just here. Let's go! We have almost finished our jewelry. All we have to do now is to relax because we have to wait 3 days of hardening before unmolding. I said relax. Anyway, I kind of guess. Zero patience. It's been now 3 days, I can't wait to see the results. If some of you would be tempted to unmold before, like me, here's what it looks like. Yes, not cool. Now, let's get to the unmolding. Finally, I was able to unmold. This time was endless. Well, for first ride, I find the Rhodium very nice. I obviously had few failures, but finally not so much. For example, the one where it clearly overflowed too much, quite difficult to recover. I also got 2 nice phases for this one, probably a problem of mixing between the resin and the dye. Interesting. Or this one where I had clearly put too much phosphorescent powder, the resin was too thick and did not fill well the mold. I got some nice holes at the edges. Finally, for the later, I had nice bubbles on the top. Clearly it needed a bit of blowtorch and most probably additional rest time. As for finish, as you can see, I did not sand. This is the advantage of a silicone molds. I use sometimes deburrer to remove the little things around, but it was clearly enough. I could have sanded obviously, for instance if I wanted to have rounded edges, but I kind of like the result like that. If you like sanding, it's obviously possible. Let's move to the next step. As you can see, I took back my blues because even after the unmolding, it is totally feasible to do another layer of resin. A finishing layer, for instance, like in that case, where I found the jewelry not flat enough. Or like here, if I want to add another color layer of resin on the other side of the jewelry. If you wish to carry out this step, you will still have to wait 3 days. No! Obviously, this phase is optional. Yeehaw! So, if you are in a hurry, 1. Make sure you pour the resin carefully. 2. Make it maybe also simpler. Or 3. You can also use the UV resin, which hardens much quicker. It can also be a good option. Jewelry is finished. There is still one step missing, the assembly. Earring, necklace, pendant. The choice is big. What will I choose? All good, we have assembled all our jewelry. Now let's see the results. That's it. It's over, and it was a lot of fun. As you can see, there are a lot of molds to make your jewelry and a lot of options to customize it, and I'm far from having explored all the possibility. You can use wood, you can use polymer clay. In short, the options are endless. For a first experience, the result is simply astonishing, and as you can see, apart from the time for hardening, it is quite quick. Now all I have to do is test the UV resin and compare it to the epoxy resin. The fight of the resin begins! So I see you in the next video for the resin fight. In the meantime, I continue with the resin because I cannot stop. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe. Prépare your bet! Ciao!